Mode.
I believe we're on, everybody, but we can only hope. Let's see here. Is everybody there? It looks like we have 6 attendees in here, my friends. Let's get this thing started. We have a couple of, let's see here. Who do we have here? Do we have any attendees present? Looks like we might have Christian Wilson, Jason McKee, and John Marks. It looks like they may or may not be muted. So let's kick this thing off. Make sure we have all the hand-waving things. We'll be able to see questions from people and all that good stuff. So can everybody hear? Christian Wilson is raising his hand. Christian, can you hear us?
I can hear you, Darren.
All right, good deal. I guess we're on then, and we're going to kick this thing off then. Thanks for showing up. We're honored and pleased to be here to guide you through some interesting information about social branding and Twitter networking today. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, just to kick this thing off, I want to make sure that my friends here who are the presenters are also connected. And if everyone sees something on the screen. Guys, I'm going to hope that this works and we're going to move forward. So this is Darren Williger, and I'm here today with Billy Beatty and special guest star Larry Wentz, and we're going to talk about Socials Masterminds. The agenda for today, and a few things we're going to be diving into right away, is an introduction of the Masterminds groups. We're going to be talking about what this group is and why we're doing this for free, and how the next 4 weeks are available should you choose to pop back in for any and all of these. You could get some benefit out of them individually or collaboratively. We have some emails available to keep you in touch with some of the technologies we'll be talking about. We have available web resources, including a shared website, socialsmasterminds.com. We also have availability through Twitter to reach out to any of us through our handles right there. We're actively engaged. We'd like to talk with others. And the topic for today is going to be social branding and Twitter networking. The Socials Masterminds groups is a subset of the Masterminds groups that spun out of our weekly Masterminds call. The three of us participate in a weekly group where we talk about marketing trends and how the industry is going to be changing continuously, and we've come up with collaborative information that we're here to share with you today. Now, a little bit about myself, and then I'm going to hand it over to Larry and Billy. I started a users group in 1984. This was my first entry into social networking. I've worked as a hacker for hire through a security background for Alcan IT. While traveling international securing companies, I was spotted by Dell, picked up to do over $25 million annually by leveraging social media. I founded Williger Incorporated last year to oversee my virtual real estate, and I am the original CEO and founder of Regillo Consulting Group, which was founded in 1991. We cater towards the large and global enterprise, but this year in February, we launched a small business division at regillos.com. I work with 5 partners, and we have some incredible offerings going on. So that's my spiel. I hand it over to our guest, and proud to be here, hopefully on every call, Mr. Larry Wentz, King of Twitter.
So am I not hearing Larry Wentz?
I'm not hearing Larry Wentz, and I think we're going to skip over the technical difficulty and hand it over to you, my friend. I'm very privileged to introduce a close friend of mine, mastermind partner, Billy Beatty. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Beatty.
Okay. Well, Darren, I'm going to let you keep controlling the screen. I don't want to bring mine up. I've got some stuff on here that I can't show right now. So I'll let you stay in control of it. Billy Beatty, as Darren said. I'm sorry that we missed out on the king of Twitter, Larry, but I'm sure he'll be back. I have actually been working. My first foray into computers started in 1979, and so I've been online since the early 90s. Been working with computers through my whole life, but that hasn't been my life. I'm actually a serial entrepreneur and had experience in the corporate world through several different C-level positions. I've started a lot of companies and sold some companies and actually have done a lot of things in my life, but the main thing I'm concerned with right now is actually entrepreneurial forays and also social media, social marketing, what's going on online and how we can actually take what we do socially to the next level, either through video or presentation marketing, different things that we actually have on the horizon that we're looking at, and sharing everything globally, locally, and socially. So that's what I do, and that's what I've been doing, and hopefully we're going to be able to cover some great things today. Darren, I'm hoping that we can get Larry back in. I'm sorry about whatever happened to his presentation, but hopefully let's bring in Larry if we can.
It looks like he's not on, unfortunately. I'm not sure what's going on with Larry. It says, he's missing an audio PIN number. I don't know how we can get this to him, but, well, Larry, if you can hear us, your audio PIN is #67#. I believe he's dialed on a phone, so we'll need to dial #67#. Well, Billy, can you see the screen okay?
I see the screen. I see my beautiful face on there, and you're more than welcome to remove it at any time.
Well, we got your handsome mug up for a reason. We're about to dive into branding. What we'll do when Larry's able to connect to audio, we're going to give him another second here. By the way, another reason this is free, everybody, is we almost anticipated technical glitches as we prepare this for the first time. Hopefully it's working by now. He's there! Everybody, Larry Wentz, Twitter.
Okay, I'm not going to touch anything on the screen because I don't know if I did that or not. I'm not sure what you heard. I think
we heard nothing. We heard nothing.
You heard nothing.
No.
Well, that's pretty much my life story. But, no. Anyways, I'm a newbie on the internet compared to Darren. I mean, I don't think I got hooked on the computer. I think it was late '98, and I got involved, really for the last 10 years, heavily into domain name investing, buying and selling, and building little simple sites and doing affiliate marketing. And now I'm starting to get involved in connecting up with social media, and the people that I've got to meet, like Darren and Billy and a lot of other people from our mastermind group and people from all over the world. It's fabulous. So that's what's up with me. That's my introduction. Back to you, Darren.
Larry, thank you so much. And everybody on this webinar, Larry Wentz has over, I think, 180,000 followers on Twitter right now. The guy is just phenomenal. He understands this from different angles. And we're going to have a lot of fun talking about Twitter and how to tweet and how to get followers. But first, Billy Beatty and I are eager to share something here that is strong with all of us, and it's branding. We're going to be talking about the brand dynamics mindset today. And on the screen is an image that is from David Armano, incredible image communicator. I recommend you check him out. And he talks about the branding stairway between heaven and hell. Billy, how does this lead into your presentation for today?
Well, actually, it looks pretty good. I mean, we were actually talking about part of this last night. Whenever you have the stairway to heaven, you have credibility and authenticity are steps that are taking you actually to the top to get brand loyalty, which those actually help to engender trust whenever you're able to present credibility and authenticity. And one thing we were talking about last night is, you know, whenever we have a website, we could use a website for many different purposes, but the one that we want to talk about today is actually creating some type of revenue or monetizing something that you're doing on the web online. And one thing that we've seen through the years is everyone's website tends to be, oh, I'm perfect, look at the flowers, how wonderful everything is. And what we're seeing now is the actual brands that are creating that trust and building to brand loyalty are the brands that are showing on their website, hey, look, you know, we had this screw up, here's what happened, here's how we resolved it, or we didn't resolve it, but here's how we're going to be different in the future. And those simple little tweaks that corporations and individuals like us are doing are actually having widespread ramifications within the branding universe, because what you want to ultimately do is have brand loyalty, have someone think of whenever they hear your name or your brand, and I prefer using the term personality because you want to build your online personality, not so much your brand. It's hard for an individual to think of themselves as a brand, and brands are even now wanting to take the warm fuzzy of a personality and convert their brand into something that you can become personal with. You see it online, you see it on commercials, you hear it on the radio, and you see it in print. They want to develop a personality that you can actually feel comfortable with. That's going to help you to develop your loyalty and your trust with that brand or with that personality. And so something that we've seen back to the negative is actually showing some negatives, not just presenting a positive universe. And I don't mean take the flip side of you're argumentative and you're going to put everyone down. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking about all of us have made mistakes in our business careers, and so many times what we want to do is we want to sweep that mistake under the carpet. Well, some brands like Comcast and others have shown, look, we've made mistakes, but you know what, here's what we've done to fix those, to rectify those mistakes, and here's actually what we want in the future. And also they're asking for input from consumers. You know, how can we be better? How can we serve you better? How can we listen to you more? How can we be more attentive to your needs? How can we plan for the future with you being a part of that plan? And I think that your graphic that you had was very illustrative. Sorry, don't have anything to drink here, so I'm losing my tongue. It illustrates very well. There you go. Exactly what I'm trying to say. So, you know, go ahead and come on into this, Darren. But I mean, that's what I think that Stairway to Hell and Stairway to Heaven. I don't try to go into hell too much because most of us are trying to stay out of branding hell. So I try to stay on the positive of getting up to branding heaven, developing that loyalty and trust with your brand or your personality. One thing I will say about developing followers, which is going to be a part of this, a sure way to get followers, it's very simple, and it's two words: good content. And good content also goes across to what you're doing to build your brand. There's jokes and there's funny things and there's funny commercials which bring across something negative, but the majority of things that stick in your mind are the good content type of advertising, the good content type of branding. And if you want to develop a following on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn to a lesser degree, you need to actually provide good content. And Darren has been phenomenal about content. He's one of the most organized persons I've ever met in my life. But he has dynamic content, and you know, if you don't have good content or you can't come up with it yourself, there's a lot of places where you can get free good content. And those are some things that we can teach over these next few sessions. But Darren, go ahead and take us wherever you want to go next.
Billy, thank you so much. That is an incredible tee-up into this whole session we have going on today. As Billy stated, branding has changed quite a bit, and we don't want to enter into that branding hell. Right now, we're living in the U Incorporated. It's this internet era of individuality where everybody can create their own brand. Now, what does that mean exactly, that everybody can create their own brand? Well, of course we can, but is your brand going to be Harley Davidson or Pepsi or Coke? No, it's not, but your brand could be even stronger depending on how much passion you put into it and who your target audience is. But through using social profiles, your blogs and websites, you can really control, first of all, what's coming up for your name in Google, but most importantly, for your niche, for your business. It gives you the possibility to persuade, to motivate, and encourage people to take a look at who you are and understand that individual flavor differently than ever before. Because, folks, check it out. Last I checked, we went through a bit of a recession, and people are a little bit different about their money than they were a few years ago when they had tons of it and everyone felt confident about the economy. So you know what's going on? We're very particular about who we shop with. We like to know who we're giving our money to. We like to trust who we're doing business with. And I look at this trust mentality. If I'm looking to get a painter for my home, I'm going to call a friend who had a painter come to their home because I trust them. Whoever they tell me is a good painter is who I will trust. That, my friends, is what's going on right now, proliferating throughout this social media sphere where we really can control that brand. It allows us to take personal branding to distinguish ourselves from the masses. So the big difference now is it's no longer just that brand and that individual, but it is that brand individual. It's that ability to just have this cohesive communication as far as who you are and who your company is trying to target. It's a lesson that I've learned personally all too well through experience. My company itself has learned to become more fluid in order to cater to the client needs as they change. The key to this was listening, and we've used social media to not only connect with a whole new group of customers, but actually to source the people who are providing the services. It's phenomenal. So that's the difference. It's the ability to really take control of the perceived values, because things are what we perceive them to be. Perception is reality. And that's how it works. So if people think your brand is great, well, your brand is great. They think it sucks, it sucks. And companies are investing millions and billions of dollars into trying to control the minds of consumers and purchasers through billboard ads and radio and traditional telephone and magazine and other old school big money wastes, when it takes just a little bit of effort to take something you care about and what you enjoy doing, share it with others, and become that expert. Because who are you going to buy from? Somebody you like who actually taught you a couple of things and has proven that they know what they're talking about, or somebody who's going to say, buy my product, buy my product, buy my product? You know, it's Billy, I got to hand it back to you, because this slide here really resonates from the heart about what we talked about on the call last night and about how to communicate through inspiration.
Well, I think that the main thing to get from this is whenever you're talking about the first interest at the hearts of your fans, the first interest is always betterment. And one thing that we look at in branding and developing brand loyalty is an inspirational force where we're respecting our customer, our client. We're respecting what their experiences are, and we're trying to actually develop something that is inspirational for that relationship. And what I mean is inspirational force actually inspires you to do something. What is it that we want a client or potential client to do? We want them to click on the call to action, or we want them to buy the Coke at the store, or we want them to come by our dealership and drive past those other 20 dealerships to actually buy that vehicle. And that's something that you have to inspire within a potential client or a past client or a current client. You have to remain in that inspirational mode, trying to inspire the future purchases or the future brand loyalty, and trying to develop that relationship with your clients. And that's where the inspirational force comes in, that we're developing quote-unquote fans of our brands. And that's what you actually want, is a fan of your brand. Something that I was going to mention earlier, and I'm not sure if I did, is whenever they hear your brand or they hear your name, human nature is whenever you hear a word, a thought comes to your mind. You can't stop it. Right now, if I say polar bear, all of us see this white bear. There's nothing you can do about it. And by the way, what was a polar bear doing on a loss? Can anyone explain that? I don't get it. But anyway, you know, whenever you say polar bear, a white bear comes to your mind. That's the way that we're wired. We're hardwired that way, that whenever we hear something, that thought comes into our mind, and there's a visualization of that. Well, what is a visualization, and what is the thought process whenever your brand is mentioned or your name is mentioned? You know, Zig Ziglar on here says you can have anything in the world you want if you'll just help enough other people get what they want. And that is something that I'm involved in very heavily. It's actually called Pay It Forward leadership, and it's also called servant leadership. And what it is instead of worrying about what I, Billy, want, how do I help Darren get what he wants, and how do I help Larry get what he wants, and how do I help Sheila get what she wants? How do I help these people get what they want? If I help enough folks get what they want, I'm going to wind up getting what I want. And the reason is because whenever you're helping someone else, you're developing loyalty with them. And you don't have to say, well, you know, I did X for you, I expect you to do Y for me. That's not the way it works. Relationships aren't one for one. If you tried that with your husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend, you wouldn't get very far if they came to you and said, honey, would you take out the trash? And you said, yes, I will, if you'll do X for me. You know, I would probably get a frying pan upside my head if I tried that. Relationships are not one for one. It's not a one-for-one proposition. You need to have the attitude of, what can I do to help you? And that's going to instill an inspirational force within the other party or the other person of, hey, man, I would really like to do something back for Darren or for Billy or whoever, you know. I would like to, it motivates us being faithful. And that's what you want, is you actually want a faithful clientele base. You want to win the hearts of the fans, inspire them to do your purchase or your call to action or to buy your service or whatever it is that you're providing, and you want to develop that attraction to you and to your brand and to that the personalization of your brand. Have that loyalty there. And the whole point of all of it is actually adding value. If you're talking about a network, you add value to your network by actually helping other people develop their networks, develop their lives, develop their businesses, develop their relationships. And one very important thing to always remember whenever you're talking about your network is it's your network. That network is your network. It isn't someone else's network. You know, my network is my network. Darren is in my network, and I'm in Darren's network. But you know what? My network is mine, and I'm responsible for my network. It's mine. It belongs to me. And so whatever effort I put into it, there's a reciprocity that comes back to me from that effort. And that's something that we need to look at. I like this slide that Darren has put up. Fans are impressed with network you're associated with and follows everything you do. You know, whenever you're building your network, a very important aspect of that is who is in your network. If you have, you know, 1,000 negative people in your network, you're going to have a negative network. Well, if you have 10 negative people in your network, you could ultimately have a negative network. You are actually known by those people that you hang around. That's what parents taught us, you know, birds of a feather flock together. And so we can read so many motivational teachings that say, you know, get a mentor of either what you want to be or where you want to be or how you want to be, and be mentored by those folks. That's because who you hang around is actually who you ultimately become, and that's what your network is. You're building a network of like-minded people, hopefully, and also people that can mentor you or that you can mentor them, and a network that can help each other. And so, Darren, back to you, brother.
Brother Billy, thank you very much. That's kind of teed it up perfectly for what I wanted to touch on. is we look at that circle of influence. And you remember Larry turned me on to a service called sponsoredtweets.com. And I said, why not? Let me sign up for this and see what it is. And sure enough, this company paid me over $100 each time I put out a tweet for them. One was saying I like pizza. One said I like flowers. I like both these things. And I got paid 120 something each to say that. That's ridiculous money that in my opinion, was thrown away, because the way that things really work in social media isn't about handing over currency and getting onto a soapbox and shouting, buy my product, look at me. It doesn't work that way anymore. That was almost like an old school mentality trying to buy this new communication that we've all embraced of having a voice. Realistically, something that works is being honest, is communicating, is bouncing around. If you're somebody who people are paying attention to because you're a genuine human being that they care about, well, if I talk with somebody about their product or service and reach out and communicate at the human level, others pay attention. So basically, by not selling, you're building that brand. That's the marketing side of this whole thing. And it's just how things are working in this new economy. Customers sell themselves. It's the evangelism economy where people want to know what's going on and why they should buy from you more than ever. It's not going to be because you have the coolest gadget or the flashiest page. Well, it's going to come down to the fact that you're a leader and not just a salesperson. And you just take that dollar sign off your head and be genuine, because leaders focus on helping others. All of us are trying to help you guys out here, and we love doing this. We make ourselves available to talk on Twitter because we truly enjoy this. That's why we're successful at it, is people like the fact that we enjoy it. If Billy and I are working on something together and we talk about it, well, his network of friends and my network of friends just might look and say, well, what are they working on? It's a chance to share what we're doing. We're busy, crazy guys, but we like to give a lot of ourselves, and this allows us to do so. It's true attraction marketing, because as you talk about it, people understand that you are an authority in that space, and they give you that chance to really show it and to pay it forward ahead of time. I don't want people to come and do business with us without having a sample of what we do, and this gives them that opportunity. People get a chance to take little bite-sized slices of our personalities every day through social media, and this is how we can engage exponentially throughout the social sphere. Larry, do you have anything that you can add to the attraction marketing part before we dive right into Twitter?
You know, the important thing is being yourself. That's what I see that works, and that's the way it should be. You know, if you're a little bit goofy like Darren is, you know, that's what attracts people to Darren. He's totally honest. He's goofy. And that's him. That openness, that honesty. Bring yourself to the network, as Billy says. Bring yourself. That's what you got to do. Be honest, be open, be yourself.
Hey, Darren, before you get into Twitter, I wanted to add 3 things, if I could, about attraction marketing, and it actually has to do with a website. Since we're talking about Twitter and social and the dynamics of attraction marketing, you know, a website is an important thing for us to have to do marketing. And there's a couple of things that have come out recently. If someone actually has internet access and they're planning a purchase other than something like a pizza or a Coca-Cola, they actually have results that show up to 95% of customers check out the website of the company, corporation, or service first. Up to 95% go and look at the websites before they make a purchasing decision. And, you know, whenever we get to a website, we have 4 seconds for our website to sell itself. That's how long the person is going to stay and look at it. If it's not attractive, they're gone. You've got 4 seconds to actually get that attraction going and make your client or potential client want to see and learn more. And finally, if you're more than, whenever you get to your website, when I get to your website, if I'm more than 3 clicks away from your sale or call to action, forget it. You're not going to get the sale. And I just wanted to throw in those things, Darren, before we dive into Twitter.
Oh, Billy, those are phenomenal things. There's something I wanted to share about the whole attraction marketing too. I've really learned to be myself more than ever in the past 2 years with embracing social. I've always embraced social, but I've also been corporate groomed. I've worked for giant corporations. I was last with a Fortune 50, and the mentality of separating brand and individual is part of the corporate mantra and still will be in large global companies for a while as they begin to break down the walls of trust with information. And it's just something that's slowly emerging. But for the smaller business who has the opportunity to embrace this, last year when I started getting a little more silly on YouTube and making videos and singing and just being myself publicly and not just being, hi, this is Darren, I have a pragmatic phased approach to articulate solutions. It was more just, hey guys, this is me during downtime, here's me during pro time, here's me, and all the voices coming together as one. It was so honest and pure, it was therapeutic for me on so many levels, but professionally, I have people who do business with me because they've seen the silly videos and because they identify and say, wow, we know you're smart, but you're also silly, and we kind of like that. And for some reason, when I took that risk, and it was a real scary risk last June when I started just becoming me a little bit more online and fully embraced it. And immediately afterwards, I realized that I should have done it the whole time because it felt so good. Professionally was the part that surprised me. More business just started coming in. So, Billy, thank you. Is there anything to add on branding? And I don't see any questions yet, so maybe we did really good and answered a lot of stuff, or maybe people aren't listening. I don't know.
Yeah, we were perfect and covered everything, and now we can dive right into Twitter.
All right. Well, there's a whole agenda for the Tweety agenda today. It looks like there is a tweet mastermind bird there, and I am so proud to hand over the floor to my friend Larry Wentz, who we lovingly refer to as the king of Twitter. Larry is one of the founding fathers of our mastermind group and has taught everybody the way of the follow. Larry is awesome. Larry, take it, man.
You know, the king of Twitter. Now, you know what? You just came up with that saying last night. All of a sudden I saw it out there on Twitter, and then boom, all of a sudden the king of Twitter. So I don't know what happened there. But, well, you know, I'm hoping that maybe you're able to turn over the screen to me and then that I'm still able to talk. Are you able to do that, Darren?
Oh, we'll find out momentarily.
Yeah. Okay. When ready, show my screen. Okay. Now, is my screen being shown? Do you see my Twitter account?
We see Twello, your Twitter account.
Okay, now you do see Twitter. You see
Yes.
my Twitter account, my Twitter page.
Yes.
All right, great. Okay, first of all, you know, I think I've been on Twitter for, I want to say about 15 months or something along those lines. And so I've really dove into Twitter on a major basis. And first of all, I want you to think about this. There's different ways for you to use Twitter. You know, people will use it one way where they want to get a large following, and then there's people that just want to be on Twitter and just follow a few people, just maybe some celebrities, or maybe they just want to concentrate on the business. So that's great. Everybody's right. There's no wrong way to use Twitter. I decided that I wanted to gain a big following, and so I'm just going to show you some of the simple techniques that I used to gain right now 176,000 followers. And I feel pretty accurately saying that when I've been actively growing my Twitter account, trying to grow it, that I grew it faster than any non-celebrity on Twitter. I feel pretty confident in saying that. So you just kind of got to look at the results. And again, sometimes I've changed my ways on ways I do things. But let me just show you what I've done that works, and I can guarantee you that it works. And some of the tools that I used. First of all, I believe that if you want to gain
Larry, you there? Larry, we lost you. We see your screen, but we can't hear you.
one loss.
Oh, you're back. You're back. Welcome back.
Okay, I have no idea what happened there because I did not click on anything. So,
The timing,
so anyways,
you said you were going to give us a secret, and then the voice went out.
the secret, and then the voice went out. Okay.
Yeah,
The
Twitter
secret
cut you
is-
off.
The Twitter cut me off. Well, that has happened before. That has happened before. The best way to find people to follow is to find people in people's followers list. People that are actively following people are much more likely to follow you. And you want to follow people that are following people, not people that haven't followed anybody in months or that haven't tweeted in months. And so what you do is you want to identify people on Twitter who are actively growing their Twitter accounts. And so here are some tools that I use. I use twittercounter.com. I use twitaholic.com. I use wefollow.com. I use tweetsearch.com. And I use twello.com. And what I want to do, I'm going to go to twittercounter.com, and I'm going to click on the top 100 users for Twitter users, and then I'm going to click following, and hopefully that's popping up here. Okay, and you're going to see these numbers. The following, these are
Yeah, we lost you again, Larry.
Larry, come back. We see your screen, but your audio dropped. Last time I said that, he came back, so I thought it was worth a shot. Christian says somebody should tweet him. I agree. Oh, he's got on the screen there.
I'm sure whatever he's saying is really good.
I know. That's why I want everybody to hear it. I want to hear it.
Can you take the screen back and tell him he's not on?
Yeah, let me take the screen back here. Larry, when you're back, we will give it back to you here. I'm going to make myself the presenter. And hopefully Larry jumps back in, but I know a thing or two about Twitter here. So I'm proud to jump on in here. Now, this is fun here. Now, things to tweet about, Larry kind of went through there. But this is something you want to think about from a branding perspective, too. When I think about things to tweet about, I have my main voice that I just like to talk about everything on. But I also have my separate account that I focus on mostly my writing and blogging. I have other ones that I focus on different topics. I mean, I'm a niche marketer, so I have several different niche accounts where I speak that voice. So when I log in as my barbecue account or a wine account, I like to talk about that, maybe put some quotes about that niche. When you have fun and actually interact that way, people often like to engage and retweet that. And it's a chance to actually give links to your site or talk about news in that industry. There's quite a bit you can do. But I always like to say, keep it short and tweet, right? So Twitter's 140 characters, and I'll tell you why. Well, SMS, Simple Message Service, or as most find it, text messaging, is 160 characters. A Twitter handle maximum could be 15 characters, and because of the Twitter symbols, whether it be DM for direct message or other different things to follow with, takes up to 5. It's the 15 plus 5 plus the 140 there. So that takes us up to 160. Basically, Twitter was built around text messaging, and that's mostly how I liked using it initially. It was just sending a text message. We'll talk a little on that next week and how to use Twitter through different tools. But basically, learn to use abbreviations, but watch how people use them. You can't just invent your own abbreviations all the time. You want to avoid wordiness. Don't throw extra adjectives or modifiers in there, and shorten URLs with tools like Bitly or whatever preferred shortening tool you like. I use Bitly because of the primarily because of the analytics here. Now, I'm hoping Larry jumps back in here because he always has some great things to say. But Billy, I'm going to hand it over to you for the Twitter etiquette, my friend. You are very, very well spoken on Twitter, and I think that you can talk to this.
I want to make sure that people remember to leave room for RTs. Whenever you were just talking about, tweet size and such as that, we need to leave the room in our tweets. If we're expecting to get an RT, we need to leave the room for RTs. So many times people say, please help me out, help me publicize this event, and then they'll take up 140 characters and don't leave any room for any of their followers to retweet that. And you need to leave room for RTs if that's what you're trying to get is an RT. Don't spam. I mean, that's easily enough to understand. Whenever what is spam on Twitter has not really been fully determined yet, because sometimes people would even go so far as to say, well, Guy Kawasaki is a spammer because he puts out a tweet 4 times. If you're following Guy or you're following me or you're following Darren, you're actually saying, hey, I want to hear what you have to say. A spammer would be someone who actually gets a fake account and DMs the heck out of somebody trying to sell something or send you over to a link or to a porn site or something else, some bot or some fake account, and those are what I consider spam. I don't say that if you tweet something or you send out a tweet 2 or 3 times, I don't consider that spam. Don't overdo it. You could actually do, I believe, 100 updates an hour, but if you do, you're probably not going to have very many people that want to read your tweets. You'll start losing followers by overdoing it. And be a fit to your target audience. First thing you have to do is you have to know what your target audience is and how are you going after that target audience. What are you doing? That's developing your online personality. What personality do you actually want to put forth? What are you going to be saying that you're trying to target to? What audience are you targeting to? You need to determine what that is and then be the best fit into that target audience so that you can actually have a following that will listen to you, possibly retweet your tweets, and have a conversation with you. And that's a very important part of it, is having a conversation. Give proper credit when due. That means don't leave off the credit for quotes. Don't leave off where you get information. Don't take something and forget to give credit to the news source or the printing source or the actual person who came up with that quote or that nifty invention or that nifty saying. And don't mislead people. One of the most important things about misleading is your avatar. So many times you'll see a beautiful girl avatar and A lot of guys want to follow that beautiful girl avatar, and it's probably some old guy in Malaysia somewhere that's 100 years old. Don't be misleading with your avatar. Don't use an avatar that's 40 years old, the way that you looked when you were in high school and now you're 67 years old. All of us get older. All of us change. All of us gain weight, lose weight, have different things that happen in our lives, get wrinkles and bags and circles and all the other things that we do. Gravity is working on us. Age is working on us. Life is working on us. Be realistic with your avatar. Put up a recent picture. You don't have to show us, what you look like getting out of bed first thing in the morning, but have a nice avatar that is actually a good representation of who you are, and don't mislead also with your bio. One thing that I actually recently heard a guy, Kawasaki, say is, a social media expert is an oxymoron. And so many times I'll read a bio and I'll read, social media guru, social media expert, social media professional, social media coach that is, blah, 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 and we'll get all of these links saying, would you like to get 1,000 followers a day? And then if you actually go find out who that Twitter account is owned by, that person will have, 200 followers. Well, actually, it must not be working for them. So, it wouldn't be something that I'd be interested in checking out. So don't mislead your followers or your potential followers with your avatar, with your bio, or even with your tweets. Don't tweet fake stuff. That has been done, and just be honest. Honesty is the best policy. Take that and go forward with it. Darren?
Well, I don't have to jump in. Our friend Larry's back, I believe, and has a couple of questions here on the floor.
I am back.
Welcome back, Larry.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I just got disconnected.
It looked really exciting, and I was trying to practice reading lips, but your lips weren't on the screen.
Well, Larry, there are 3 questions. I don't know if you see them on the screen here or an email.
Okay, what are the questions? I don't see them in the chat, so.
Oh, hold on a sec. Do you see them in the chat? No. Hang on a sec. There are a total of 3 questions for you, sir. If not, I will read through them in my radio voice the best I can. Thanks for calling. Well, Larry, the questions start off with, Larry, great advice on building Twitter followers. Question is, some people think that Twitter followers can be a false metric of success. You have 180,000 followers, but how many of them read your tweets or care about what you tweet about? Isn't 1,000 solid people who care more important than 100,000 who don't? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that statement right there is accurate, and it's kind of inaccurate, because for one thing, I found that getting a lot of followers, you are able to get a wide connection, a wide swath. Now, there are some people that I know that will tweet that may have like 15,000 followers compared to me that are very actively solid. They're a little bit more celebrity, let's say, in their market, let's say like SEO or so forth. And they're going to get as much feedback as somebody like me. So I wouldn't say it's a false metric at all. I know that, for example, when I tweet something out, for example, just a couple of hours ago, tweeting about the seminar, I believe that I had like 140, 150 people click to the seminar probably within the hour, at least clicking the link about it. That's a fair amount. My opinion is that you just got to choose on how you want to build your business. If you want, or your Twitter following, if you want to do it with 500, 1,000 people and just kind of building it slow and doing it that way, that works great. Great. It also works the way that I do it, or that Darren does it, so they both work. I guess that's the best way for me to accurately answer the question.
Yeah, Larry, I'd like to say it's really not a false metric. It's actually an objective metric. And objective being, you know, what is it that you want? I mean, if you want 170 or 180,000 followers, then, you know, what do you want that number for? Or if you only want 1,000 followers, what do you want that for? It's objective according to whose account it is and what they're trying to do. It's not a false metric. It's actually just an objective metric.
Exactly. And when I decided to develop a large Twitter following, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know exactly what I would use that following for, and I still don't know perfectly. But I can tell you this, is that it has been very advantageous having that following. The connections that I've got, and there is a major advantage having that following, at least from my experience.
Larry, there's two other questions here from Christian Wilson. The questions are, can we get the 5 Twitter applications, and are logos bad avatars?
Let's see here. Can you repeat that, Darren? I'm not seeing that out there. Can you?
Christian would like to know if you can share again that list of the 5 Twitter applications. Maybe I'll try handing the screen over again.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, the list that I use is twittercounter.com, twitaholic.com. That used to be twitterholic.com. I use wefollow.com. I use tweetsearch.com. I use twello.com. And I really kind of use Twitaholic, Twitter Counter. I would like to identify who's actively growing their following, who's out there following people on a daily basis, who's gaining 300, 400, 500 followers a day, and then going to their follower list, cherry picking off their follower list. I mean, I don't use software. That's one thing that I've done is I manually have grown my Twitter following, and I've done better than any software apps out there. So identify who's growing their following, cherry pick out of their followers list. I mean, don't follow cam girls, don't follow obvious spam accounts. Just do the best you can of cherry picking, and it works. I know that when I've done that following process, I've gained as many as 500, 600, 700. In fact, even one day I gained 800 people in a day. But typically, you know, averaging over 500 a day, which was tremendous. And again, that's when I was fully following 1,000 people a day. I do different processes. I'm looking at different avenues myself right now.
Larry, the other question that came in, actually, William Hostins would appreciate if you can repeat the last 2 sites. And the other question that came in is, have these apps ever gotten you banned?
Okay. Yeah, the last 2 sites are tweetsearch.com and twello.com.
Larry,
And I will tell you this.
I'm sorry, is there a website that people can refer to get this information later today, maybe?
The old followers.biz site, you had that information, but you know, maybe we'd be able to figure that out and get it set up someplace. And as far as for the question about as far as for being banned, all right, I will tell you this: the process that I did for the first year of following people, and I did everything manually, and I didn't use software, and that process worked tremendously. And then in late February, what had happened is I decided to do some different techniques. And I'll tell you exactly what I did. Is I went through some of the Twitter lists that people had created, and I did some following of people that were in SEO, in affiliate marketing, and I changed my pattern. And so all of a sudden, instead of 500 plus people, 600 people following me back, every day. For a 2-day period, I had about 250 to 300 some people, 350 following me back. And something right there set off a flag with Twitter. And so I got flagged, and I did have a ban for a week. And so really exactly what had happened is I changed my techniques for a 2-day period. And essentially what had happened is that I followed people where the follow-back ratio of them following me back was not as high as typical as usual that I had. So that is something that occurred when I changed my pattern at that time. So that's honestly what had happened there. It wasn't a fun process. See, now Twitter, I got to tell you, Twitter is not obvious on what their limits are. They say you could follow up to 1,000 people a day. You know what? If you do that, and if you don't get a high follow-back ratio, there's a chance that you could happen. It could happen exactly what happened to me. And I see it happening all the time out there. I see a lot of accounts where that's occurring. And so I think it's important is to get a high follow-back ratio, target as much as you can, and then you shouldn't have any problems whatsoever. And I see that working. It's worked for me. It's working for Darren. It's working for a lot of people that do similar to what I've done.
Well, Larry, we got one more question. We're going to have to be a little quick as we're coming up on time. But this is from John Marks, if you can address this. And it says, can you have Larry expand on the advantages of a large following? What kind of connections, etc.?
Yeah, a perfect example is I would not be here right now talking to you if I did not have a large Twitter following. Okay? There is no question on that. I would not be part of this tremendous mastermind group that, if I did not have a large Twitter following. I connected up to Darren when I had like about 13,000 some followers, and he was watching my account and how I was growing, and I got to be friends with Darren, and that's how I connected up with him. And then I started getting connected up with a lot of top-notch people out there in social media and different venues. In fact, I've even had a couple celebrities call me and ask me about how to grow their Twitter following. So that large following has brought me credibility, but the fact is that I always claim to be a social media newbie, and I am. I really am. I'm a regular schmuck, but it has helped me to connect up with some great people. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that Twitter following that I have right now. No question about it.
Larry, thank you. I think we're coming up on about all the time we have today. I want to see if there's any other questions here. But I wanted to take just a moment, thank everybody who attended and everyone who participated today, and remind you that we've given you a free Masterminds account here where you can return for the next 4 weeks totally free. So seriously, guys, make sure to continue checking out socialsmasterminds.com, followers.biz, followmeback.net, and even a new one that just launched recently, socialmediamind.com. We're here. We look forward to talking with you, seeing you next week. We'd be very grateful for your feedback. If you can email that in to us or post it on the blog, we'd appreciate it. Anyone who gives feedback on the blog, I'm going to send you one of my Twitter products for free or a branding product for free, maybe both. So thanks for coming. Billy and Larry, anything you want to say in closing?
No, I just want to thank everybody for being here. Any questions, just Twitter me. We're going to be giving a lot more advice on Twitter, on Facebook, and LinkedIn, and social media aspects. Make sure you visit followers.biz. Hey, that's an empathy site that we're going to be growing as a group, collaborating on as a group. That's about it for me.
Glad to be here. Just wanted to say that as far as a logo for an avatar, I actually use that on several of my Twitter accounts. So I don't see anything wrong with a logo as an avatar.
All right. Well, I hope everybody joins up again next week. Thank you, everybody. Ending the broadcast now, and have a fantastic rest of the week. Bye.